still chasing fire through the years half slow. Weights on my back, sweat in my eyes. Old man's fight never says die. Old man on the mat, still standing tall. One more round, yeah, I've heard it all. Grip the edge, don't let it slip. Strength in the soul, strength in the grip.
Hey, Old Man on the Mat crew, this is Tony Jones coming into another great episode of Old Man on the Mat. Guys, I'm fired up about life. I say it every time. I'm going to keep saying it every time. I'm excited about life, guys. But listen, I am fired up about the guest we have on today. This guy, man, you'll hear some of the stuff he's done and you'll sit back and say, you know what? I think I need to get off the couch. I am fired up, man. This guy, he has his own fighting system out there, which is really cool. It's called the Adaptive Martial Arts Science. The guy, I mean, he's so unique. He was born with cerebral palsy, but what he's done is he created a whole system for the special needs community. He's a black belt in Zendo-ryu karate. He's a 2-stripe purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So we had a conversation about him smacking me around. That's awesome. I ain't mad at it. And he's also a Jeet Kune Do Grappling Association certified instructor. This man has done some of everything. He's also, which I think is real cool because he's telling his story out there. He's an author. He's wrote several books. His newest book is The Adaptive Way. So that launched and they had to pull it back, but it's going to launch again, and it's going to be really good out there. So when you get a chance, when that launches, go ahead and grab that. Guys, with that, I give you Mr. Brandon Ryan. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
Still kicking and swinging.
All right.
You know. So you're out in Omaha, Nebraska, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. What's there to do in Omaha? Nothing.
I mean, it out where we live, it's in Waterloo, Nebraska. It's pretty quiet. But yeah, I love it. I love the quiet life.
Okay, hey man, I like it too, man. I like that quiet life too. But let's jump in here, man, because looking at some of your stuff, looking at things you've done and your life in essence, I would love for everybody to know your story. You were born with cerebral palsy. Now, what kind when you started doing the martial arts, what led you to get into martial arts? So let's start from there.
Yeah. So see, right away, like I give all credit to God for laying martial arts out for me as a pathway, because when I was born with my disability, the doctors, they didn't really have a lot of knowledge of what CP actually was on one hand. So my mom, who's Vietnamese, like full Vietnamese and fire driven, stubborn woman, the doctor, I was born on a military base in Michigan, and the doctor told my mom that on one hand I'd be a vegetable and be dependent on people the rest of my life, and I wouldn't amount really to anything. So my mom, again, who's Vietnamese and full of fire and stubbornness and sometimes rage, grabs this doctor.
That's
Uh,
right.
she grabs the doctor by his clinical jacket and pulls him to her. And she was like, "Don't you ever tell me that my son's gonna be a vegetable." And they actually called my dad, who was working that day, and he had to get off his post and come to the hospital to de-escalate my mother.
Man, your mom was jacking people up.
Oh, she was pissed, brother. She was like, "Look, you just discharge my son, and I'll make sure that he thrives and gains the weight, because I was under 4 pounds. Like, I shouldn't be alive."
Yeah.
And
Wow.
so, yeah, so like my mom started feeding me steak and potatoes, and I started growing. And as soon as I saw my dad as a kid doing martial arts and growing up with Bruce Lee movies and Chuck Norris, I was just hooked. It was something
Yeah.
it was something that I wanted to do, because it was an escape from the reality of living with a disability. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha. Oh man. So your mom, man, does she do any martial arts too? Or she just spitfire, just crazy?
No, she hasn't done any martial arts, but I guarantee you she can hold her own.
It sounds like it, man. That's pretty cool, man. But that's that spirit of a mother, man. You know what I mean? Moms
Yes,
that you can't tell them no. They're not gonna see defeat. They're gonna push through, especially when it comes to their children.
yeah,
And
for
your
sure.
mom saw
Yeah.
you and was like, no, no, no. So when you stepped on the mat, you said your dad was doing some martial arts, and when you decided to jump in there, how did it feel? What did you do first?
My dad, he taught in his garage before he ever opened up any of his schools. So in my book, I talk about there's a chapter, the first chapter is called the Yellow Mat. And my dad would lay this thick exercise mat out in the garage. And I'd get out of my chair, and my mom would be so afraid of me getting dirty and everything. But
Hmm.
my dad would be, trying to teach his students how to throw punches, and I'd be on my knees just trying to mimic and throwing elbows and stuff. And
Man,
it
that's
was
awesome.
legit. And
That's
like,
awesome, man.
yeah, hey, so like we talked about like the style of karate that I was brought up in. It was called Zendo-ryu karate, which literally translate the system of all ways.
Okay.
And so while his system had like 8, maybe 10 katas, he didn't make me memorize the katas. And so the style was really, it wasn't about point fighting or anything that you see in the Olympics. It was about, I'm going to whoop your ass in a very quick fashion, and I'm going to
Yeah.
break an arm or a leg if I have to. So
Yeah.
there was ballistic entry, clenching, throwing, good manipulation, submissions, and even some eskrima mixed with it.
Oh, man.
And so
Yeah.
to give you a timeline, this is pre UFC one, like
Oh, yeah.
like and so my dad was already influenced by Bruce Lee. So he was already adding in this eskrima, Muay Thai, and all these other systems. And so we get a flyer, or he gets a flyer to a Jeet Kune Do seminar in Cedar Rapids, Iowa,
Okay.
uh, by one of Bruce Lee's original students by the name of Sifu Larry Hartzell.
Okay.
And this dude, when I say he was a bad mofo, he was a bad mofo. Like he served in
What?
Vietnam, in the
What?
military. Yeah, yeah. So like after watching UFC one and seeing all the different styles of martial arts, we decided to go and attend the seminar. And the the way this dude, Sifu Hartzell, combined all these different martial arts and combined submission grappling with striking and Muay Thai
Yeah.
and trapping and weapons was just amazing to me because there was no borders to what you could do.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there was one single defining moment that set me ablaze because we took an intermission break during the seminar, and there was these green wrestling mats, purple whatever. But my dad, I was sitting in my wheelchair just watching, so they're like, "Oh my God, this is so cool." But my dad picks me up out of my wheelchair and puts me on the mat,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, "Whoa!" And then Sifu Hardstyle is teaching me how to do a triangle choke with my leg.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I was like, "This is what Horace Gracie used in the UFC."
Yeah.
And so yeah, and so I'm like, "Dude, if I can defend myself on my back, imagine what else I could do or somebody else could do like me."
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that was the catalyst for everything else in my martial arts
Um,
career, was because of
oh,
my dad,
man.
yeah, and Sifu Hartzell.
Oh. Now,
Hmm.
how long did you train there when you first decided to train, or they stopped you to train there? Did you train there for a while, or you went to something different right away?
So we actually, I was a seminar student more so of Sifu Hartzell. We had him up to Nebraska several times.
Okay.
Um, and he was so good with me. He was like, "Man, your Jeet Kune Do, your art is yours. Do with it what you
Mm,
will." He
yeah.
he he did not put any boundaries on me of what I could add or take away from my personal Jeet Kune Do that worked for me.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, this was really just a catalyst for me because already in the back of my mind, I'm like, dude, I want to pass this on to other people like myself.
Mm,
You know, and
yeah.
we're in the 90s at this point. Uh, AOL just started coming
Yeah,
up.
I
That
remember that.
God, man. So we didn't have like social media or anything of the sort, and so yeah, like we had also had Eric Paulson up to our school a couple times,
Wow.
and Eric is a wonderful man. He blessed my life and still does in so many ways, and he was a student of Larry Hartzell as well. So there's the already deep connection. And he
Yeah.
took what Larry Hartzell did for me and only amplified it because he wasn't afraid to figure out how to defend yourself in positions that normal martial artists don't think about. Say, if you're sitting in your car and someone accosts you or attacks you, how you defend yourself in these positions.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that made a lot of sense to me because I'm in a wheelchair. I use crutches, but how does one adapt the martial arts to fit that need in particular?
Right.
And so I my dad made a flyer and put a photo of Sifu Paulson in me, and we went to there was Kinko's by my dad's first school and made like a dozen flyers. And so I went to my high school at the time. I started passing them out to people with other disabilities. And you would
Yeah.
think, yeah, you would think that like I would get some sort of traction, brother,
Right.
but I didn't get squat. No interest,
Really?
no nothing. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, do you think because martial arts at that time, was very newish and just so, maybe people didn't understand martial arts or they just got people just were lazy or just whatever.
Well, no, so speaking to the disabled people in general, which is what I wanted to do, like I said, was to create an atmosphere where people in wheelchairs and various disabilities could learn how to defend themselves.
Right.
Um, but I think what happens is like there's that general fear of wow, self-defense is really difficult and scary,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
dealing with violence in in terms of being in a wheelchair is scary. And so I think on one hand, people have a hard time getting past that first initial layer of fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and so fast forward a little bit, I'm 17 years old and I'm teaching my dad, I'm helping my dad teach his classes. And yeah,
Wow.
and
That's cool. I love it.
yeah, yeah. And so I would work with some of the kids. I would teach boxing on my knees, holding focus mitts, and I would teach people how to do
Okay.
trapping and grappling and clinch work and everything. But the sad part about all this is I had to put that dream away of
Mhm.
wanting to serve the adaptive community for several years.
Okay.
And it wasn't until I got into college and I was teaching a self-defense class one day a week on campus all 4 years of my college career. And YouTube, I just started discovering YouTube.
Yeah.
And so I was like, there's not a lot of people teaching adaptive martial arts on the internet right now. And what I saw on YouTube when I just typed in wheelchair self-defense or something of the sort, I really did not like. And that's not to bash any other adaptive martial
Mhm.
artist. It just didn't seem real-time self-defense.
Real like,
And
what kind of things were they doing? Were they showing more kata things in the wheelchair or stuff like
yes,
that?
yes, sir. It was more
Yeah.
like Aikido, which I have nothing against. If you know how to apply Aikido correctly, it works.
Oh, yeah.
But but when you don't have the neuromuscular reaction time sometimes, that's
Mm,
very difficult.
gotcha,
And
gotcha.
so yeah, and so in my mind, I'm like, dude, I've got to do something. And so I put up my first video. It was horrible. Like the editing was
Yeah, the
just
first
crap.
ones are always
Yeah,
horrible.
yeah, yeah. But I uploaded to YouTube. It was like 2 minutes long. I thought people are just it's gonna get a few hundred views. Like
Yeah.
I looked the next day and it broke 2,000 views like overnight.
Oh, man. That's
Yeah,
cool.
and so I was like, okay, I got to do something. So I started a
Yeah,
Facebook page and everything, and started putting up videos. And man, it just blew up overnight. And um, I've had God has really blessed me because I've had the opportunity to reach so much of the world with my system, and I've helped
yeah.
people in the UK and I was several different places start their own adaptive martial arts curriculums.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, does people come out to train with you sometime at your studio, or you do everything online where you train people online, that kind of stuff, or
So I like to say that while I do have a permanent school that I train at personally, I've held classes there. We're kind of like a mobile school, so we tend to go where people will allow wheelchairs, which
gotcha.
that's a very hit or miss subject. People are very
Mhm.
sensitive about their mats and everything, and I get
Yeah,
that. I get that.
yeah, yeah.
You know, but we've gone to people have come to us, so it's a give and take a lot, but yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that makes sense though, especially if
Mhm.
people really don't understand, and they bring you because I used to have a gym back in Chicago area. I had it for like 10 years and we had one of our kids program, couple kids in a wheelchair. They both had cerebral palsy and they would come in and sometimes we'd put them on the mat and then sometimes we had a space around the mat. We use them around the mat, but
Mm.
and we understood that. So they understood sometimes they're on the mat. Some depends on what we were doing, so, but I understand people are sensitive about their mats and things like that. Now, is your following more in the special needs community, or is it just overall everyone usually follow you? Because you can use some of your martial arts in every aspect. I think, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, and it's 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 a good mix of people that have disabilities and people that don't. I oh man, just thinking about how blessed I am right now is really surreal. Because, dude, I've had the opportunity of working with military veterans, post-traumatic stress.
Wow.
Um, I've worked with law enforcement officers in small doses. I've worked with the Department of Health and Human Services, teaching
Oh my
their staff.
gosh.
Yeah, and brother, like when I first started this, I had no idea that able-bodied people would want to learn for someone like me
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
because living as a disabled person, there's always this connotation where if I walk into a CrossFit gym, people are automatically going to stare at you, and they might subconsciously think, "What the hell is this kid gonna do?" And then
Yeah.
you start doing your muscle ups and everything, and they're like, "Whoa," because you're you're breaking the boundaries of what people
Yeah.
perceive.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but I've been so blessed to work with not only the able-bodied community, but I've worked with every major disability group on the planet.
Oh man, so you have a serious following, man. Now, when you first go train a school or train
Mhm,
anyone, what's the first
mhm.
thing you do? Regardless of their disability or not. What's the first thing you do? Do you talk to them first, or do you train them, show them different techniques?
So I focus on teaching what I call more than violence.
Okay.
So I spend a lot of time on human psychology, learning how to not only control your own mind-body connection, and the thoughts that you feed yourself about yourself. And so I have a degree in psychology as well. Um, but I spend a lot of time on pre-contact indicators and what happens before you even get hands on with someone.
Oh,
Um, learning body language, learning how to de-escalate, learning how to get on a level with a person so it doesn't get to that point of violence.
okay.
But if it does, I teach a very controlled, balanced manner between what I call soft violence and deadly force.
Okay.
So
Now, now what's the difference between the two? Well, we know
so
what deadly force is. We know that,
yeah,
but I mean,
yes, yeah. So soft violence I would define as any sort of way to control or manipulate a person without having to escalate to pulling out a gun, using a knife, pepper spray, tactical pin, etc.
yeah,
I think that that's really crucial. Because a lot of instructors that I see online that I've interacted with, they're all about hitting that red light automatically, that deadly
yeah,
force. And I'm
yeah.
like, that's not always the healthiest thing to do, legally
Absolutely. Yeah.
speaking. It's not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and that makes sense though. It makes a lot of sense because a lot of times when what I'm seeing now, I don't know if you see that now. I don't know if it's just the our society today. We escalate so fast. We go to that red line, like you're saying, so
yes, sir.
fast. It's just some disagreement, right to the red line. And
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
surprised by that because, my girl, we go out a lot and we do a lot of things together. And she says, "You talk to everybody." And I'm a talker, but if I'm out with people, I use that as a de-escalation automatically.
Yes,
When I
sir.
walk into an area, I want everyone to know I'm no threat. I'm no threat to you. I'm a nice guy. I'm just here to have a good time or whatever it is. I'm that
Yes,
friendly
sir.
guy. Even
Yes, sir.
though if things did hit the fan, because of training and all the stuff, you're able to escalate, but why would you? That's the last
Yes.
thing you wanna do.
Yes. Yes. It's all fun and games, brother, until you're in handcuffs.
Or you're getting up off the ground with dirt in your face, you know what
Right.
I mean?
Exactly. I
You know?
there's an old story. Um, one of Bruce Lee's original students, he was out and about one night, and this dude was just jaw jacking him, mouthing off, talking all types of smack, and
Yeah.
he hits the Bruce Lee's student, turns around, or I don't know what exactly happened, but well, the story, Bruce Lee's student cold cocks this dude like on the
Wow.
top of the dink, and
Oh,
the guy falls down, and he hits his head, and
ah,
he dies instantly.
yep,
And
wow.
so what do you think happened to Bruce Lee's student at
Oh,
that
he was
point?
the aggressor, right? He was the guy that was the aggressor, so he got arrested and went to jail,
Right?
correct?
So it's all fun and games until you're in handcuffs.
That's right, because the people like I said, people wanna be and I'm not saying everybody, but you see in this day and age, everybody wants to fight, everybody wants to do these things. It
Yeah.
sounds I don't know if it how it sounds, but I'm afraid to fight. I've been in a lot of fights growing up, and born and
Mhm.
raised in Chicago, you
Mhm.
had to fight.
Mhm. Yes,
Been in
sir.
a lot of fights as I was a young adult, and I just realized it's not that important, you know what I mean? It's fighting. It's better to walk away. It's better to, "Hey, my bad, let me buy you a drink." I've done that
Yeah.
so many times in the nightclubs or whatever, bought guys drinks. "Hey, let me get you a drink, man. We don't forget this
Yeah,
stuff,"
yeah, yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest problems with modern MMA,
Mhm.
right? Is because
Yep.
we're so used to rule sets and training for 6 to 8 months for a fight, getting in a
Yeah.
cage, tapping gloves with someone, and going, 3, 4, 5 rounds. That's that's great,
Yeah.
but there's rules. There's a referee. There's no
Mhm. There's someone to
consequences.
stop you from killing each other. Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
so it's sad because no one teaches the importance of legalities anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I preach to my students a lot. Even as a disabled person, you had better be able to verbally articulate to a police officer why you did what you did. And
Mhm.
that is not being taught in modern combat sports schools.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all about taking someone down and choking them out. And choking someone is a form of deadly force. And so
Oh, yeah.
if you are not justified in that manner, well, you had better have some deep pockets to pay for some attorneys and
That's
stuff.
right. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. And on that same note, because I'm into firearms too, and I've
Mhm.
done all the things I carry. I'm in anything self defense.
Yes, sir.
And I had a great conversation with an attorney. This was years ago.
Yeah.
And we were talking about guns and all this stuff, and we got to know each other pretty well. And he says, "Listen, first thing you do if you ever get in a situation where you use your weapon to defend yourself," he says, "shut your mouth. Police come, you tell them this. You say, I
Hmm.
will cooperate 100%, but I need to see my lawyer."
Yes, sir.
That's it.
I
Because
carry too.
because he's saying the adrenaline gets it going, and you want to explain your side. Well, this guy came at me, so I did this, and you don't know the police are listening for little things in there, not just
Yes,
to
sir.
put you away, but they're listening to a way to solve this problem, and they may get the wrong picture. So he says, keep your mouth shut. Tell them that you're going to cooperate 100%. I just need to have my lawyer. That's
Yes,
it.
sir. Yes, sir.
That's it, man.
Now, while we're on the topic of concealed carry, like I can still carry too, brother. But it's
Nice.
like I carry a 9 millimeter. I love mechanics. The thing of it is though, is like when I started carrying, I'm like, this is an extra layer of moral and ethical responsibility.
Yes, it
You
is.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and then you get oh, the, these idiots on the internet that are just like, oh, I would just shoot the guy. Like,
It's like, what?
you are stupid. If
Yeah.
that is your only answer is to use your concealed carry, you have
That's
no
crazy.
idea how to you have no idea how to fight.
Well,
Not a
those
damn
guys
bit.
shouldn't be carrying they shouldn't be carrying it. That's case if that's your go-to, you shouldn't be carrying at all.
Yep. Yep.
Your waistband is the last ultimate life threat. My life's in danger. This guy's about to kill me. Then
Yeah.
you pull that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Amen,
these
brother.
guys, man.
Amen. Yeah.
Yeah. But used to train women quite a bit. And, but then on the other hand of that, that's that equalizer because women are naturally weaker than men. Come on, women, don't kill me for saying that. It's the fact normally, there are some women out there who's stronger than guys, but
Yeah.
normally women are weaker. And I say the gun is the equalizer. In essence, if your life is in danger, you may have to go to it before a guy will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And if I could
that's
add
not my legal advice.
no, 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 no. And if I could add one more layer to this subject of concealed carry, you know, if all you know how to do is pull out your pistol, well, what happens when your gun gets jammed up in a clinch position?
Bingo.
Are you physically able to then, fight for your life, keep your weapon under retention,
Yeah.
all these things. It's not as simple, it's not as black and white as I just shoot.
No. It's not. Because a lot of times, I want to say, I don't know how many times I don't have any study on this, but they could take your weapon from you. Now, what are you going to do? You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Oh,
A
yeah.
weapon should, you got to learn how to use that weapon because I train a lot. I've trained a lot, I should say.
Mhm.
And I tell everyone,
Mhm.
if you're going to carry a weapon, train, train, train. And I have
Amen.
nephews who are police officers, great guys, and they don't train as much as they should, even with their weapon. Police officers really don't.
Mm,
They
mm,
go back when they have to certify, they do a lot of training. And I believe as a police officer, that's your livelihood. You need to be training
yeah,
at least once a week, at
for
least
sure.
once a week, you know.
Yeah,
But I'm glad you trained, man. You could conceal and carry. That's good stuff, man. Have you ever
yeah.
had to pull your weapon out?
No, by the grace of God, no.
Yeah.
But when I'm with my girlfriend, she's also disabled.
Yeah.
She's an amputee and she has a very rare chronic pain disorder. It's one of the most
Mm.
painful diseases on the planet, and
Wow.
there's no cure for it. So,
Oh my
and
gosh.
she's trained with me a lot too, and we joke like I'm always protective of her, but we joke that
Yeah.
all she's got to do is take her prosthetic titanium leg and kick a dude in the shins, and it's done. Or she takes it off and
I know,
she
right?
starts swinging.
I know you sent me a picture online of this guy in a wheelchair ramming his chair into the guy's shin. I just thought that was so funny. I'm like, that
It
is true. That's
works.
gonna hurt like hell.
Yeah, yeah. Like you think about like the old school World War II combatives, like they did shit. They would shin kick the attacker with their steel-toed boots in the shins. That's gonna hurt.
Yes. That's gonna hurt, man.
Yeah. So
Oh man.
I'm a big believer in fighting dirty if
Hey,
you need
you
to.
know, this is there's no such thing as fighting dirty. It's called fighting, man. Fighting is
Yeah.
dirty, fighting is nasty. I've always
Yeah.
asked my students when they come in and we have a conversation about fighting, I've always asked them, and
Hmm.
I've said this before in a couple of podcasts, is
Right.
who's been into a real fight? And most of the people have not, which is good. You haven't been in a real fight. And some guys will say they've been in a real fight. I'll say, how was it? And they'll tell me every time it's chaos. It's
Yes.
complete chaos, which it
Yes.
really is. It's not going to be a I punch you, you hit me, I kick you, and all this other stuff.
No,
It's just
it's not.
complete chaos.
Yeah, it's not
Bite some
MMA.
people.
Yeah. No,
There's no
and
dirty fighting.
that's the thing is like when I'm teaching a woman in a wheelchair, I'm like, girl, if you can slap a dude in the head, grab his ear and pull, and then like
Yeah.
bite his face or throw an elbow, oh yeah, get it.
Yeah. That's right. I get it. That's all self-defense, man. There's no, like you said, there's no dirty fighting. It's just fighting.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's awesome, brother.
What man. And tell me, what's one of your challenges you have? One of your biggest challenges you have with doing martial arts and training other people?
Whew. Um, Honestly, what my girlfriend and I have experienced, she handles more of the logistics of our business. But
Okay.
the hardest part is just getting people to show up.
Mm,
Like
yeah.
we
Well,
have
that's
dealt with,
normal martial arts too, brother. That's in
right,
regular classes too, man.
but brother, we have offered free classes, free.
Mm,
We have gone to locations that are within driving distance that are wheelchair accessible
yeah.
completely. And the biggest part is sometimes they just don't show up, and I'm like, dude, we're giving you like a gift, and
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
it's your choice, but I think you're making a really big mistake.
Yeah. You know, the crazy thing about it, I've learned this from, because I used to have all kinds of companies, had an insurance agency for a while, merchant
Yeah.
services, and all this stuff. And I learned from some really, I've been fortunate and blessed enough to learn from some really successful salesmen out there. Well,
Hmm.
they said, never give your product away for free. The reason being because when you offer it for free, they don't take it serious. So
Yeah,
when I used to do the same things with the seminars and stuff, we'd want to do it for free, but we charge 25 bucks. And I'm telling you, people pay for it and they come from miles around and our mat was always full when we did those seminars. But
bro.
when we first did free ones like yourself, man, no
Yeah,
one's coming. It's
yeah,
free. But
yeah.
yeah,
No,
start
and
charging these people.
you're so right, man. And my girlfriend, bless her soul, she lectures me about this crap all the time. She's like, babe, you got to start charging people. Um,
Yeah, she does.
but I see it. I've seen the industry, man. I know the industry inside and out, and I've just
Yeah.
seen martial arts schools just completely milk people to get
Oh,
more money.
absolutely.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know the balance between not being that kind of douchebag and
Yeah.
and charging, the proper amounts of funding to not only
I get it.
better ourselves, but to make a quality product.
I understand that 1,000%. And one thing I've learned in doing all that is you gotta follow your heart. If you're a good person, just like they say, money doesn't make a man, it reveals a man, right? So
Hmm. Yes, sir.
if your heart's right, you're gonna charge them just enough to pay your bills, make a profit. Nothing's wrong with being extremely successful and wealthy at it. There's nothing wrong. This is my opinion. There's nothing wrong if you're giving your people a good product. If you're not
Mm,
milking them just because, oh, this guy pays me 90 bucks a month, but I have this shirt too. I can sell them on that too. I have this uniform. I can
mhm,
tack that on too.
mhm,
I can do all
mhm,
these extra things. But,
mhm.
when we
Preach,
ran our
brother.
gym, it was
Dang.
one price for everything. Hey, I'm with you, man. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
I
I
feel you,
know.
brother.
That was a mini sermon in itself. I needed to hear that. I feel like I just went to church, brother. Woo!
Good, my friend. Good, good, good. Brother, I tell you, man, I used to, and I tell people some of this, and I've said on my podcast before, is, I started to be a minister years ago,
Ah,
I did the whole thing and then I didn't go
yeah.
into ministry. And, and I love telling the story that, God says, hey, Tony, with your past, I'll forgive you. I'll let you in heaven, but you're not leading anybody. So going about your way.
Oh God, that's hilarious, brother.
But man, that's awesome, man. I'm telling you. But it's
Uh,
cool the way you think, though. You want to give a great product. And
yeah.
but you have to charge people, you know that. You have to charge people. Your girl is right, so
Hmm.
if she's listening to this down the road, women are always right.
Yes, my girlfriend is always right. Yes, yes, yes,
That's right,
yes,
man. That's right,
yes.
man. So let's jump around a little bit. Why did you decide to become an author? Because you wrote a couple books before, and now you're
Yeah,
on to your third book.
yeah,
What
yeah,
made
yeah.
you decide to write this book?
So my stubborn, loving, affectionate mother, she, I, I was not very academic for most of my life. And when I graduated high school, she was like, look, dude, she didn't call me dude, but she said it in a very like firm way. She was like, look, I'm giving you two choices. I'm like, oh God. Whenever my mom says I'm giving you two choices, it really just means there's one. So, so she was like, you either become a writer or you figure something else out. And I thought, oh, I can write, but who in God's name is gonna want to read what I wrote? And so I started just writing about my life with CP, and how I came to faith and everything. And
Yeah.
I self-published my first book. And dude, I spent so much money on that book, publishing wise. I spent over two
Yeah.
grand on it,
Oh,
but
man.
it sold over 1,000 copies, which I know is not, in the grand scheme of things, a lot of a lot of sales. But for me, I was like, dude, I'm proud of myself.
Okay, yeah.
But with my upcoming book, The Adaptive Way, I almost have 4,000 followers on our Amos Facebook page, and I have so many martial arts connections throughout the interweb world. So I'm feeling very positive about what that book can actually do.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the book about?
Really, The Adaptive Way it's about my life, but it's more about how to be a better martial arts instructor. It's for martial arts instructors. It's for parents that have disabled children. It's for clinicians, physical therapists, doctors that can use it as a suggestion to give to someone. So it's honestly a way of paying it forward in my
Okay.
life in my life. So it's not so much about me as it is wanting to benefit somebody else. Because I
Yeah.
get so many emails a lot, and they're like, "Hey, how do I become an adaptive martial arts instructor?" And on
Wow.
one hand, I'm like, "Oh, that's good that you want to become an adaptive martial arts instructor." On the other side of my brain, I'm like, "Do you really know what you're asking for?" Because if you're not able to think on the spot with a person with any disability, and your mind is so set in these black and white standardized ways you have no business teaching an adaptive person.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
It's a hard truth, but
Yeah.
then this is what Jeet Kune Do has taught me, is to be able to think on the spot. Like
Okay.
I can see a person, how they move in their wheelchair, how their body posture is, and I can know exactly just by looking at them how to teach them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's crazy.
huge. That's
Yeah,
huge.
and
Wow.
not to toot my own horn, but very few martial arts instructors know how to do that.
That's true. Because most schools out there is a cookie cutter. It's a cookie cutter what the way they
Yeah.
learn. So they're going to teach you the same way. You see that in the school systems too, where people are
Hmm.
just, all the kids got to learn this way, but everybody learns differently, and
Yeah.
they may seem like they're not bright in this area, but they're geniuses because they don't learn that way. And the same thing with martial arts, everybody's different. You got to be able to adapt. And that's huge that you're able to adapt to each one of the students just because is it just because your years of training, or you've always had that, what I consider everyone's got a special gift. So is that one of your gifts that you've been blessed with, to be able to see something and like, okay, I get it.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That absolutely is 1,000% true. One of my jujitsu coaches, his name is Scott, and he has been so good with me. And in terms of adapting jujitsu that fits my body, because I not only have cerebral palsy, but I have a chronic pain condition also called fibromyalgia. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
oftentimes my body is just a wreck. And so
Yeah.
my coach knows that I could give a rat's ass about scoring points, winning a gold medal. I care
Yeah.
about self-defense, and so
Right.
he's willing and able, and he's learned how to adapt as a professor working with me. And so that's the blessing, is that when I'm teaching someone, whether it be an able-bodied person, they're already learning how to work with the special needs student. Do you see how that works?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay. Okay.
that's how the engine works, so to speak.
Okay. All right. Now this may be a because I feel like this. Everyone wants to know everything, and there's always questions that people want to know. You know what I mean about everybody. Now, with
Hmm.
a person with cerebral palsy, now do you ever get frustrated with your body? That sounds crazy. I know it does, but get frustrated with your body, meaning that you know you want to do a certain thing in the martial arts or anything, but you're not able to do it. And
Yeah.
if you are frustrated with it, how do you get past that?
I'll be very transparent. There's a lot of times where my mind is full of grief because
Mhm.
I want to be able to move like everybody else. But I come back and I have to ground myself and be like, hey, that's wake up here. You're not like everybody else. You can't run. You can't, stand up and throw Muay Thai kicks. But um, I just remember and tell myself that I am the way I am for a reason, and I am not a mistake.
Praise God. Amen. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah,
I love that. And you're
yes,
so right, man. Because we always compare ourselves to other people, and no matter what it is, we always compare
yes,
ourselves to other
sir,
people. And I always
yes,
believe that
sir.
God made you special. Every person special, every person. And I don't want to sound preachy or anything, but I believe
Mhm.
we all have a special talent and why we are where we are. Simple as
Yeah,
that. It may sound
yeah.
cliche and simple, but you're a special person, brother. And look at, hey, do you think I don't know if you can or not, pull yourself out of, who you are to think if you haven't been a special needs person, where would
Mhm.
you be? You know what I mean? Because you've done so many things. You've been on major talk shows, major television shows. You've been in print. You've touched lives. You've touched tremendous amount of lives that I would never be able to touch, and other people would never be able to touch. You know what I mean? Because what your situation is, and you went out and just grew with it.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is not easy. It is not easy. Um, Sometimes as a disabled person, it's very tempting to feel like you're always at the bottom of the rung, of the ladder,
Mm, okay.
especially in jujitsu,
Yeah.
because the current model of jujitsu is so dumb to me. Like it's all you got to do, all these spinning barambolo back take
Oh
techniques,
God. I know.
guard fancy guard passing. I
Yeah.
don't care about any of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you, brother. Oh
So,
man. And I
but
think you hit it on the head, all that Barabola, and I'm too old, man. I can't get my old self spinning around.
right, and so to your point, like if people like me are struggling with chronic pain and can't move in a set standard of ways, doesn't that mean that there's got to be a different criteria in place?
It has to be. It has to be.
Which there's not. There's not,
Yeah.
because most able-bodied jujitsu instructors do not think about that.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
think about
That
how to
makes sense.
they don't think about how to apply jujitsu to somebody else. And
Yeah.
that's what I always tell black belts. I'm like, dude, you think you're so like, pardon my language, but you think you're the shit just because you're
Hmm.
a higher belt. But I tell you what, you go take this quadriplegic person and you think of some ways to show them jujitsu. I guarantee you they'll
Mm.
freeze because they won't know a
Yes.
damn thing about what to do.
Exactly. Exactly. You're right, man. Wow. So that's where you stepped in and this is so cool, man. Just to listen, because I never thought about that. I see people come on the mat before. I used to train. This was way back in college days. I did Hapkido in college, and this guy named
Mm,
Clay, he was blind. And he'd come on the mat and Grandmaster Park would work with him. I was thinking, how's this guy doing this? He can't see my kick coming. He can't see this, but he had, I mean, Grandmaster Park was like, don't kick him in the head. He can't see it, grab him, all this other stuff. So it adapted to that. And the guy became a black belt and he was very good. Now, do you ever think guys are taking it easy on you because of your special needs? And if they are, do you get frustrated and be like, dude, I'm not that fragile?
dude, the guys in my gym,
Yeah.
when I'm healthy and training, they beat my ass from the time I get going to the time class ends. My
Oh
instruct
man, that's
my
good.
instructors would just beat the out of me. My old judo coach before he left our gym, he would just we would be rolling and he would just be dead weight on top of me and he'd just suck the
Oh,
life out of me and
oh man.
he would do these dirty things where you'd take his knuckles and you'd dig them into your ribs.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh, you mother, but like, you know, but no, man, because in real life, someone's gonna try to attack me. It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be
That's
scary.
right.
It's gonna be violent.
That's right.
I need to know how to acquiesce under that pressure.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what you think about that. I like that. But taking easy
Yeah,
in training is not going to help you. That's pretty cool. So,
yeah,
what's next for you, brother? What's next for you out there? You've done the author. You're still going to write some more. I know you're working
yeah.
on finishing the book and get it out and
Yeah.
everything. What's next for you, brother?
I just want to get this book out, and I want to go like on a I want to go on like a small podcast tour about my book. Um, a couple months ago, I was in the hospital. Over a month ago, I was in the hospital, and my appendix had ruptured.
Wow.
And so I had like two infections around my appendix,
Yeah.
and so they couldn't operate right away. And
Yeah.
so I was in the hospital for almost 2 weeks, and I was septic. I was septic, and I was on death's door, literally.
Wow.
And so right now, I still have a drainage tube in me. And so right now, brother, honestly, I'm just happy to be alive. And
Praise God, man.
I want to get this book out, and I want to get back to training and making videos. And I want to keep reaching the world the way God has wired me to. That's honestly what's next for me.
Oh man, praise God, man. I love the way you think, man. I love the way you think. You don't think a person who thinks of woe is me. You always look at something, hey, I got to get somewhere else, man.
Oh,
That's
I definitely
cool.
have those days where I'm like, dude, life sucks.
Who doesn't? Who
Yeah, yeah,
doesn't, brother?
yeah,
You're
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Who doesn't? Man. But your mindset is really cool, man. This is really cool. Now, what would you suggest? Let's say someone's trying to get started in martial arts or somebody with special needs or anybody. What would you suggest how they get started? What do you think the first thing they should do?
First and foremost, you gotta know. I would say look up some schools around you and vet them, like and really talk to the instructors. If they don't have a good person to person manner, they have a good public manner and willing to speak to you as a human being and
Hmm.
and they show me a willingness to adapt to you. I
Yeah.
think those are big things. But if it's like some muy macho school where it has to be done this way, I would say you need to hide your hide your hide your wallet and get away from that kind of stuff immediately.
I
Find
get it, brother.
find an instructor, regardless of what style. Find an instructor that has an open mind,
Yeah. That's
and then
huge. You're absolutely right.
yeah, and then secondly, just be willing to know that learning self-defense is not always fun. It's not always comfortable. You get hurt, you get bruised, you get hurt
Yeah,
sometimes. But if you can get over that initial first hump, you can do so much.
man. That's cool. That is cool. Now, brother, this has been great, man. I'm so glad we got a chance to talk and get to know who you are because I've seen some of your stuff out there and watch you doing all these techniques in like your wheelchair and showing people how to defend themselves. And I stalked your videos a little bit, so I'm sure I know that I'm watching all those. So now,
Yeah.
how can everybody find you? Throw out all you before we get you out of here. Throw out all your social media everywhere, YouTube's all the stuff, so they can find you.
Yeah, so our biggest one is Facebook at Adaptive Martial Arts Science, Adaptive Martial Arts Science on Instagram. And you can follow me at the Adaptive Servant on Instagram.
Awesome, man. So you have a big platform out there. Guys, listen up. This has been Brandon Ryan, the man, the myth, the living legend. And guys, go out and find his stuff. You know, you'll be impressed by some of the stuff he does. He has a great attitude, a great sense of humor. I tell you, I laughed at some of his stuff he sent me, but I thought it was funny, you know? But he's a good guy. But brother, I appreciate you more than you know. Brandon, thank you so much for coming on. And I hope you get to come back once you finish your book, putting it out again. I really want to talk to you more about that book because I think that's a huge mindset builder for everyone. I
Yeah,
appreciate you,
no,
brother.
thank you, brother. God bless you.
Hey, bless you too, my friend. We'll talk soon. Take care.
All right, peace out.
Lines on my face like cracks in the road. Still chasing fire through the years half slow. Weights on my back,